Hello, and a big welcome from me, Mr. Sloan, Head of Year 10, to all of our parents, carers and students who are looking at this Year 10 Expectations Evening presentation. In this presentation, Miss McGlynn, Miss Harries, Mrs. King and I will be talking you through some of the aspects of the Year 10 journey. We created this PowerPoint to hopefully address some of the questions you'll have about Year 10. Where you would like to ask about something we haven't covered or you just require more information, we are hosting a follow-up question and answer session at 6 p.m. on Wednesday the 22nd of September, and this will be accessible through the New Theris homepage. You'll be able to type questions to us and we will endeavour to answer as many as we can on the night and come back to any that we can't. You could also email us at year10@tratheris.net. Many of you will have made your way through 3 years in New Theris already and will be very confident in some of the topics we're covering here, so please see the contents for the sections that interest you. I'd like to introduce the Year 10 team. There have been some small changes from the Year 9 team. We've lost some of our beloved form tutors, but we've gained some brilliant tutors in their place. Mr. Dixon's form is being taken over by Miss Jones, and Mr. Knight's form has been taken over by Miss Fletcher with the help of Mrs. Nicholas. We've been lucky enough to retain Miss Barbara, our Year 10 wellbeing mentor, and I know the students massively appreciate the work that she does with them. Our senior leadership link is Mr. Carter, who may be a familiar face to some of you, and we will be relying upon his knowledge and expertise as we move through Year 10.
Hello, Mr. Carter here. As you all know by now, we have high behaviour expectations.
Here are some key dates for Year 10. In green at the top, Year 10 Expectations Evening is already upon us, but there's an important date in green halfway down the page on the 27th of January, the Year 10 Parents Evening. The items in yellow are Year 10 assessments. There's two of those that we need to pay particular attention to. On the 28th of March, there are 2 weeks of Year 10 pre-public exams. Year 10 PPEs, where we assess the Year 10, see how they're doing, and make sure they've made the progress they should make up to that point. There is also, in pink, an external GCSE examination for the following vocational subjects. That is Health and Social Care, OCR PE, Enterprise and Marketing, Creative iMedia, Hospitality and Catering, and Engineering. Those are all on the week from 10th to the 15th of January, 1 exam for each subject. Now, our students will be well prepared for those, but we would like your support in making sure they take that preparation as seriously as they can and work as hard as possible, because those vocational examinations contribute to their final GCSE grades.
Hello Year 10 and welcome to Key Stage 4 and the start of your GCSE and vocational qualifications. This is a really important year for you, Year 10. My name is Miss Harris and I look after what we call the quality of your education, and I'm going to just talk you through a little bit what you can expect this year and what we expect of you as you start your GCSEs. Ultimately, we want you over the next couple of years to get as much as you can out of school life. And yes, that will mean working hard for your GCSE exams, but it will also mean getting engaged and involved in as much as you can. You want to gather experiences that make you the rounded, wonderful individuals we know you are. We also want you to learn at Tretheris and really succeed academically. We have a curriculum that's judicious, which means it's purposeful for you. We've thought about you as our Newquay children and what we think you need. Our curriculums are rich. They go beyond your exams and give you lots of knowledge and exciting experiences for you to learn. Our curriculum is ambitious and challenging, will really stretch and motivate you, and it's well sequenced, which means we've thought about what you already know in Year 6 and have built upon that to make sure you get the best possible learning. We have one curriculum at Newquay Tretheris and it's made up of 4 parts. Our academic curricula, which is your subjects, our pastoral curricula, so everything you get in form time through your assemblies programme, lots of extracurricular activities and programmes, and a careers curricula to make sure you're always heading for your next goal each year. And those 4 elements make up our Newquay Tretheris curriculum. And the aims of this curriculum are for you to achieve highly, engage fully, communicate convincingly, and decide wisely. Your teachers will be talking to you about these things, but that's what we want from you at the end of your time at Tretheris, and what ultimately you should want for yourselves. This is what your academic curriculum looks like on a page. This is your curriculum chronicle for Year 10, and it details and maps out everything you'll be doing in all of your subjects from the beginning of Year 10, half term 1, right to the summer term, half term 6. Now obviously it's quite difficult to read here, so if you click on this link, this will take you to this document so you can have a little look at what you've got coming up and what you might like to prepare for. For now, here's a snippet of some of the things you will be studying this term. In English, you'll be looking at societal morals and values as you read and explore the 19th century novel A Christmas Carol. If you chose EP, you'll be looking at Christian beliefs. In geography, urban-rural continuum. If you chose history, Weimar and Nazi Germany. Food, DT, regulatory hygiene framework. In maths, you'll be looking at trigonometry. In science, plants and photosynthesis, electromagnetic spectrum. And if you chose PE, you'll be looking at the risk of sports injuries. A huge range of knowledge for you to enjoy and get your teeth into. So, to help you navigate your way through all those new pieces of knowledge and new skills that you'll need to learn, remember and acquire, we've tried to help by developing what we've called learning journals. Each term you'll be given a learning journal, and Mr. Tench, who's your learning lead for your year group, will be telling you about them each term. What these learning journals are is a list of knowledge and skills that you need to know each term for every subject. These lists will help you learn and revise, and you can start to sort and organise your revision using these learning journals. You'll be hearing more about how to use them over this term. There'll be assemblies, and in your tutor times on Fridays, we'll start helping you use them as you sort your revision. So here's an example of what one page from your learning journal looks like. This is the Media Studies one, if you opted for Media Studies at GCSE. And as you can see, there's a list of knowledge you will need to know down the left-hand side and some key vocabulary to help you access and write about this knowledge in an exam on the right. Now this is just one page, not all of you have studied Media Studies this year, so if you click on that link here, you'll be able to go to your learning journal in full for every subject for all of your Year 10. As you'll know from the last few years, sometimes there's been a bit of disruption, hasn't there? But this isn't anything you have to worry about Tretheris. If you have to isolate at home because you test positive, our aim, provided you're well enough, is to mimic the school day as closely as possible. So you'll log in into your Teams account and join the lessons live, just following your normal timetable. Here's a list of instructions as to how to do that, and your computing teachers will be talking to you about this over the next few weeks.
COVID is still with us, and given the recent high levels around Newquay, we've taken steps to protect the school community and the people around that community. We've asked our pupils to wear masks in communal areas for those that aren't exempt, and they have risen to that brilliantly. The majority of pupils have been tested twice to identify asymptomatic cases that happened at the start term, and we're encouraging pupils to continue to test twice a week at home. There are hand sanitisers outside every classroom, and pupils are encouraged to hand sanitise on the way in and the way out. And there are still one-way systems in place where that's appropriate in the school. We're also asking students, wherever possible, to take their breaks and lunches outside and make the maximum use of outside spaces. We're all familiar with the idea of getting up and getting ready for work in the morning. At Newquay Tretheris, we model that under the title NT Ready. On Monday mornings, all form tutors will be checking students have a pen, pencils, a red and green pen for marking, and a calculator for maths and scientific subjects. We'll also be checking uniform and PE kit where that's appropriate. Now, should a student accidentally forget their pencil or red pen, we've got spares available in the year office and they can borrow those, but we would ask for your support in checking as regularly as you can that your son or daughter has that full set of kit in their bag and ready to go. It means no delays in lessons, it means they're able to access work from the off, so it's a massive help to them. As well as being head of year, I'm also a maths teacher, so I know the value of a quality scientific calculator, and I recommend the calculator that we supply through Parent Pay. It has functionality that some scientific calculators don't, that makes it easier to obtain marks in the GCSE paper. So that is a real bonus for students if they can have that calculator through year 10, through year 11, and become very familiar with it. Students that qualify for free school meals will already have been offered one of those calculators, so take good care of that. But if there is a problem, then see your form tutor and we will try and support you with that. There's never been a more vital time for attendance than in year 10 moving into year 11. Our students have started their GCSEs, and missed time at school can mean missed content, and that can lead to lower outcomes at GCSE. So there is strong evidence that great attendance equals great outcomes at GCSE. It's important students are in school for 8:35 AM because registration starts promptly at 8:40, and every day of the week is important in year 10. On Monday we've got NT Ready, checking that students have their equipment, their uniform is good to go, and informing them about things coming up in the week. On Tuesday is Assembly, where we look at upcoming major events or themes that students need to hone in on. On Wednesday we've got follow-up activity to Assembly. On Thursday is the Word Project, where we raise literacy across the school, and literacy is one of the most important links to outcomes in all subjects. And on Friday we are working on our sort skills, so that is practicing our revision techniques to make sure that when we're revising we're as effective and efficient as we can be and get the job done, so that when we're preparing for our exams we do so as well as we can. Now, we expect a minimum of 96% attendance from our pupils, and if a pupil's attendance falls below that, initially form tutors will contact home and offer support. Where that support isn't sufficient, then I as head of year may contact home, offer further support and look at what we can put in place to make sure that student is here for the 96% and more that they can put in to get them the best outcomes they can at GCSE. I'm very proud of our pastoral support system at Newcastle Terrace. I know that all our staff work super hard in supporting our students every day. Now, our system starts with our form tutors, and they are your first port of call. If you've got a worry, go to your form tutor, let them know. Don't worry about it being a small worry, a large worry. That is what they're there for. They're there to help you out, to hear what's going on in your world, and to offer you support. If you need more support, we've got Miss Barbara, our Year 10 Wellbeing Mentor. She can offer time to talk where that's appropriate. She can signpost to external agencies where that's appropriate. She is part of our pastoral support team, which you can see on the slide in front of you. She's far left. So Miss Barbara is our Year 10 Wellbeing Mentor. As I said, we're all here trying to support you, but the most important thing you can do if you're worried or if you've got a problem is let us know, get parents to let us know. Go to your form tutor, go to Miss Barbara, come to me, Mr. Sloan, your head of year, and let us know as soon as possible. Even if you think the worry is too small for us to look at, it won't be. We are there. Our job is to support you when you are having a difficult time, and we will do that, but you have to let us know, okay? So that is my main message. Let us know if you're at all worried, and once you've discussed that worry with us, we will be able to put support in place to help you get on with your learning and getting the best grade that you can. Most of our parents will be very familiar now with the Class Charts app that you can download to your phone. It's the program where teachers set homework for our students. It's where we record positive praise points when students have been a standout in the lesson, and it's also where we record negative points if there's been an incident of negative behaviour. I would ask you to have that Class Charts app on your phone, keep track of the positive and negative points that your son or daughter is obtaining, make sure that they're on top of their homework, and make contact with us if there is anything on there you're worried about or don't understand. Now, you may have forgotten your codes, your access codes since last year. Students can ask their form tutor for those access codes, or you can ring reception as a parent and they can provide those access codes for you. One of the most important roles of class charts is to keep track of our positive praise points, those points we give students when they've gone above and beyond, when they've really excelled. Each department, like maths or science or French, will have their own rewards policy. They'll send postcards home and certificates and prizes for students that do brilliantly in that subject. But on top of that, we have a Year 10 rewards policy, and that is our attempt to keep everyone up and running, really feeling rewarded for the hard work they've put in. So every week on a Friday, I'll pick the top 5 or 6 point scorers for that week, and they'll get a chocolate bar. On top of that, we have a running total through the year, and you can see the levels of reward that are on offer. So at 10 points you get a Choose a Chew from the Chews in the year team office. At 25 points you get an e-raffle ticket. Those e-raffle tickets give you 1 entry into our rewards assembly raffle, where we raffle off £10 Amazon vouchers and other goodies. 50 points is another e-raffle ticket, and a queue jump pass that gets you rapidly to the front of the food queue if that interests you. 75 points e-raffle ticket, 100 points e-raffle ticket, and entry into the 100 Club. We put on a special event for the pupils that had achieved 100 good praise points last year, where we cooked up a load of pizza and bought them some pop, and they had dinner on us. At 125 points, it's another e-raffle ticket, 150 e-raffle ticket, and another chocky-based treat. It's a chocolate bar from the year office, and at that point, you've really earned it.
Hello, my name is Mrs. King, and I'm in charge of Nucleotherapy's Independent Learning Strategy, which is our homework policy. Independent learning is any work that is set to be completed outside of lessons that is not directly supervised by a teacher. This work will support your child to build knowledge and skills and therefore make improved progress. We've asked staff where possible to link the independent learning they set to our SORT revision strategy. This means tasks might include summarising learning using different techniques, including flashcards, revision clocks or Cornell notes. They might be asked to organise their learning by identifying strengths and weaknesses on personal learning checklists or learning journals. Students might be given time to recall their learning, which means using rote learning techniques such as blurting or look, cover, say, check to practice remembering information. They might finally be asked to test themselves using low-stakes quizzes or high-stakes questions. All of Key Stage 3 independent learning and most of Key Stage 4 independent learning will be set via the Class Charts app. Some Key Stage 4 independent learning and all of Key Stage 5 independent learning will be set via Teams. Regardless of this, we ask all parents to download the Class Charts app. This is because you will receive notifications and announcements via Class Charts, and you'll also be able to track praise and behaviour points. If you do not have your Class Charts login, you can get this from inquiries@tratheris.net. If you point the camera of your smartphone at the QR code displayed at the top right of this slide, you'll be able to access a handy parent guide. We appreciate that there are some barriers to completing independent learning at home, so we've now created new study zones which are open to all students in Key Stage 3 and Key Stage 4, Mondays to Thursdays 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. The study zones are manned by a member of staff who's on hand to support, and there is ICT and other resources available to complete independent learning tasks. Students in Key Stage 5 also have access to the study room, Mondays to Fridays, periods 1 to periods 5. As well as the study zone and study rooms, there are other support mechanisms that we have in place. If a student fails to complete the independent learning task on the first deadline, or it's not handed in to a sufficient standard, they'll be issued a H1, a homework warning. This does not incur any behaviour points. Students have the opportunity to rectify the problem and hand the missing piece of independent learning to their teacher the next day. If a student still fails to meet the deadline the next day, or still hands in a piece of work that's not been completed to an adequate standard, they'll be issued a H2. Again, this doesn't carry any behaviour points, but students now have to go to the study zone 24 hours later to complete the work under supervision by a member of support staff. That way, we have removed any barriers to completion, such as lack of access to ICT or lack of resources, and students have a member of staff on hand to support them to get that independent learning completed that they were unable to do at home. If a student fails to attend the H2 study zone, or they still hand in a piece of work that's not completed to an adequate standard, they will be then issued with a sanction. At this point, they'll be issued a H3, a Homework Head of Department detention. They now have a behaviour point and they'll be expected to complete that missing piece of outstanding independent learning under supervision of a member of staff in the department. By monitoring class charts, you'll be able to support your child to organise their independent learning, ensure they meet deadlines and keep track of any behaviour points that are issued.
As I'm sure you'll know, we are very proud of our uniform at Nukicha Theris, and Year 10 have made a great start in that respect, so I would just like to extend my thanks to our parents and carers for the effort they've put in to get our students here in the right gear, looking so well presented. Just for clarity, blazers are needed at all times. That includes the summer term. You wear blazers in the corridor, but students can ask teachers if it's okay to remove blazers in their lesson at the teacher's discretion. In school, we insist on shirts being tucked in, and we would like students to proactively maintain that. Trousers are tailored into the ankle, not above it, not rolled up, please. Plain black socks and shoes. Now, it's plain black socks every day because, as I'll tell you in a little bit, PE kits are now going to be brought into and changed into at school. So plain black socks every day, and it's plain black shoes or trainers, no boots, please. There's no tube skirts allowed, I'm afraid. One earring per ear, no facial piercings, and it doesn't matter if that's under a mask, it's a no facial piercings rule. We're not going to allow nail varnish or acrylic nails, so please take those off before you come to school if it's the end of a holiday. Hair colour needs to be natural, no extreme haircuts. And as I said earlier, PE kit, we're no longer wearing that to school. On a PE day, you bring your PE kit with, you wear your school uniform, and then you get changed in the changing room for PE and changed back into your school uniform. Just a quick reminder of our rules surrounding mobile phone use at school. Students are not allowed mobile phones or headphones on show in corridors or classrooms, so those need to be away in a bag, in a pocket, safely out of sight. If they are in sight, they will be confiscated by teachers. That's the current set of rules that operates at Nukicha Theris. Students are allowed to take their mobile phones out into the playground at their breaks and lunches, so into their social areas. For us in Year 10, that's the piazza. I'd be bit more careful about taking them onto the tennis courts where there's ball sports being played, and definitely not onto the AstroTurf, because in those areas they're definitely going to get damaged. But those phones are allowed out into the piazza, into the social areas. Strictly no filming of other students, strictly no taking photographs of other students, but they are allowed to use their mobile phones responsibly in those areas at break and lunch. Thank you so much for taking the time to have a look through this PowerPoint and support your son or daughter in Year 10. If you've got questions that we haven't answered, then feel free to email myself, Mr. Sloan, the head of year, or Miss Barber, our wellbeing mentor. Both of us can be reached through the year10@tratheris.net address that's on the page in front of you. The other thing you can do is attend the question and answer session that is running on Wednesday at 6 o'clock, and you can access that through the Nukicha Theris website. You'll be able to log on, type questions to us, and we will do our best to answer them then and there. But if we can't answer them then or there, we will come back to you at a later date with the information that you're after. Okay, so thank you very much. Really appreciate your effort, and we would love to hear from you on Wednesday if you've got extra questions, or email us and we'll come back to you directly.